Welcome guys to my home for a change. In this video we're gonna discuss a few things. We're gonna take you through the whole house buying process in Italy. So we're gonna show the listing that we first saw when we were looking for houses. Take you through the process of visiting houses. And we're also gonna share some details like the price that we paid and also the how big the land is and stuff like that. So stay till the end of the video to find all that out. That's a negative idea.
So if you see me looking out of the window, that's because Pino, our little dachshund, is sitting right here. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's pretty light there. But there she is.
I think you can.
Yeah. She watches the cats a lot. So Cruella and Milky, the two cats that live here, they use this window during summertime to get in and out of the house. And she has seen them jump on the table and then move indoors. So that's something that she likes to try out herself. So she jumps, I think via the stairs, on the table and then it's right next to us. She was inside a minute ago, but she is quite energetic right now, so she was making a lot of noise and annoying the cats, so that's why she needs to be outside for a little bit, but she's fine. So if you hear noises or see something through the window,
it's probably Pino.
It's just Pino. So yeah, let's get started.
The first thing we're going to discuss is about the whole beginning of the process. So when did the idea of buying a house in Italy first start?
Well, I think if you've seen some of my videos, then you know that we needed to sell the homestead here in the Netherlands. That's where we are from and we are living right now. We needed to sell the homestead because unfortunately my stepdad is Piemonte is sick and it's just not possible for us to manage everything here with the whole family. Pino. My mom and Egbert is my stepdad, would like to move a lot through Europe with their camper van. They want to have a little bit more freedom. My grandmother, who is also living in the homestead right now, is going to move to a home for elderly people because that's what she likes, to spend more time with people her age and do a lot of activities. And it's also because right now here she's just not as mobile as she once was, so she is ready to move to a next step in her life. And with everything going on, that's why we need to move from here, and that's also why we're taking the step to move to Italy. Right now it's something that I always had in mind, not Italy specifically, but moving abroad, just because there's
many more options.
Yeah.
If you look more south, and that's also a question we got a lot, comparing house prices where we were looking versus house prices here, and it's simply not possible to buy a house in the Netherlands for most people,
no.
Especially our age. So
that's pretty expensive.
That was pretty much out of the question.
Especially if you want to live on the countryside and own a little bit of land, live in nature, then it just gets really expensive.
It's not like in the States where there's still places with lots and lots of space. The Netherlands is quite full. We don't have lots of space anymore.
Yeah, it's quite busy here. Also, we don't have that much nature anymore, and it's also not really possible to live close to nature here because it's just so busy. And I guess the same is happening in the States right now. Just gets busier, prices are going crazy, it's the same here. So it's just hard for us to buy a house basically in the Netherlands. And also we like the climate a bit more south because it rains a lot here.
Yeah. Why Italy specifically? Well, that's mostly my choice, I think. There's a lot of possibilities in the region for the specific region where started looking for tourism. So there's a lot of tourism potential, so business opportunities. But also the combination of climate. It's 1 day drive from the Netherlands, where we still have lots of friends and family, so that's quite nice. And the prices for land and property are acceptable.
Yeah.
There are definitely places where you can buy cheaper, like Hungary or Romania. Also places like Portugal. But like we discussed in the last video, and if you haven't seen it already, we discussed this more in detail. But there's a lot of struggles with water rights and having enough water to sustain yourself. And in the north of Italy, it's very much green. We wanted a green area where nature thrives, where it isn't too dry in summer, and where it isn't 50 degrees in summer. So based on all those conditions, this was pretty much the ideal place for us.
Yeah.
What did we imagine in the beginning? What was the romantic idea we first had versus the actual reality?
Well, I think everything for us moved so quickly that the moment we knew that we needed to move from here, we started looking online, and then everything went so quickly because we needed to plan a visit there, view houses. It's just, I don't really... Of course you have a bit of a romantic idea living in Italy, but we were quite quickly into the reality because of everything that was going on. So I think...
We were quite pragmatic about it as well.
Yeah.
Like, we were discussing what are the things we're looking for specifically, what are the need to have and the nice to have options. So the size of the land, for instance, but also the region, how close we wanted to be to civilization, but how free we wanted the view to be, that kind of stuff. Size, possibilities to create bed and breakfast options, that sort of stuff. So we had quite a list of specifics we were looking for, and I think when we narrowed it down to the region we ended up searching, that made it easier, because at first we were looking at both Portugal, Spain and Italy, and that's just a very big search. So
and it's also not really possible to fall in love with an area when you're looking so
broadly.
Yeah.
So I think that helped, and I think the most the thing we had to get used to the most is just there's many steps involved, and you know that up front, but you don't truly feel that until you experience it. So there's lots of things to manage, to take care of, and practical stuff like having sort of social security number in Italy. It's not really that, but it's similar.
Yeah.
You need to register there. It's a whole process, and those are steps that are quite involved, and it's a process, at least to me, doesn't really come natural. All the bureaucracy and filling in forms, not something. I'm more of a creative person.
I think it's just like we didn't really have time to get that romantic idea. We just needed to be realistic very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's true. And the last question about this subject is, what were we looking for, and what did we definitely want to avoid?
So we were looking for something in nature. Dylan would like to have something close to vineyards and the big wine houses in the area, just also because it's work related for him, gives a lot of opportunities as well. Dylan had a region in mind. I think it's for you, it's more important than for me.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to be not that far for a bit.
And also, specifically where in the region I wanted to be. On that I was more specific than you. For instance, Nikki was very adamant about being maximum 15 minutes to a town. So you can do shopping only by bike, for instance.
Yeah, but which town didn't really matter to me. If it was, possible to do it on a bike. Because realistically, we have one car, and Dylan is going to be going back to the Netherlands for work pretty often. So I will be in Italy just with the electric bike, and I would like to be able to go to a town fairly easily.
Yeah.
But we were looking for a bigger house, not because we need that much space, but because we like to have family and friends over, we like to have a bed and breakfast, and we also like to grow our own food. Maybe one day have animals there, and we like to be in nature, so that were, I think...
Yeah. And also the state of the house was something we had a rough idea about. We didn't want to have... We were very specific about the fact that we wanted a roof in a good state and walls in good state, and preferably the floors as well.
Yeah.
everything in there we can renovate, but big structural works isn't what we were after. So a little bit of that is not a problem, but we didn't want to buy a ruin, basically.
Yeah, now we have both.
Yeah, we have a bit of both, which is nice. We wanted one part at least to be somewhat easy to move into.
Yeah.
So you don't have to organize a big renovation with lots of stuff we can do ourselves while not being able to live there.
Because that just gets too expensive for us.
Yeah, we didn't want to rent something in a neighboring town, for instance, while the first renovations are starting.
Yeah.
Because that's just a waste of money.
And also we like to be hands-on involved.
Yeah.
We want to be there as soon as possible. So now we are going to move there without water, without electricity, without heating. We are going to be completely off-grid. But that's going to be a whole other adventure.
And we wish we could give more details about the situation when it comes to electricity and water, but we're still waiting to hear from people.
Yeah.
Things don't go quite as fast as we're used to in Italy. So we've asked local builders, and we've been in contact with the Geometra, the building surveyor basically in Italy.
But it just takes time.
It just takes time.
A lot more time.
And they're always out of office for some reason.
But that's fine. I think that's also a bit of a
We have
charm.
time, and that's also why we started early, why we also wanted the deed to pass in December. So we have time to arrange stuff before that.
And we also know it's just part of it.
Next chapter, the search. So how did we start looking for houses? And how many houses did we actually end up visiting? So we discussed a little bit about this last week as well. So if you want to hear more details, view also the Q&A last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, sorry, the last video. We started looking basically online. We wanted to look ourselves. There's a lot of people from the Netherlands that if they want to buy a second home or a home elsewhere, they find a local agent or realtor, and they tell them what their wishes are, and the realtor is going to find houses within their portfolio, but also within the portfolios of other realtors, and they're going to come back to you, and they basically mediate the whole process and are sort of your spokesperson. We wanted to have the reins in our own hand, I think it's how you say it.
Yeah.
We wanted to be able to choose for ourselves what we wanted. So we did all looking online, and advice on this part is really mixed. A lot of people say it's easier and safer to find a local realtor to help you with the process. Oh, it started raining.
Pintje, kom maar meisje. Kom maar snel.
So basically a lot of people from abroad, like Dutch people, would find an agent either local to them or local in the area and let them do basically all the work. You have less risk.
Yeah. It's a bit more easy that way.
But you also have less control.
Yeah, and we really wanted to be involved in the whole process. We wanted to look at houses we thought might be interesting. And maybe because we did that, we viewed a lot of houses that were not interesting at all, and it took a bit more time. It was a bit harder because we don't speak Italian yet.
And we still haven't done an official count either about how many houses
I think
were.
it's 19.
I think it's 20 or somewhere along the lines, because fun fact, there were a few that we ended up not visiting, which we chose quite abruptly in that week because we found out we couldn't get there by our car, for instance. And funny enough, one of the houses that was almost the one we didn't visit was the house we ended up buying.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, quite funny. It was really, we were on the cusp of saying, no, sorry, we're not gonna go there, because we had viewed for 2 days in a row only houses that were really not it, that were really run down, that were rotting away basically.
Yeah.
And the first listing of the house we saw had a lot of furniture lying around, shit everywhere. It was just a big mess. And on the first listing
And also
photos
the
we
pictures
saw,
showed the ruin mostly.
Yeah, true.
And we were like, this is just too big of a job for us. This is going to be another disappointment. We don't want another disappointment. But then
Yeah, then we had a contact with the realtor many times to change the date because it was quite a hassle to fit all the viewings in such a short time. So we had a lot of contact, and we were like, well, we got the appointment now anyway, and we finally had the time secured, and it was really in.
It was a nice location.
My top one place
Yeah.
within the region, basically. So we viewed another house in the same area a few days before, which was really nice. It was one of our favorites up until that point. It was just too expensive.
Yeah.
So we were a bit on the fence about that, and then when this house was also in pretty much the same area, we were like, well, let's give it a benefit of the doubt anyway, and let's go there. And well, I think it's a question somewhere along the lines of the next chapter, but then we had the visit. And what was your first reaction?
I was really excited. It was the first one where I was walking around and I was like, I could see this work. And all the others were like, it could be possible, but I was not really enthusiastic about it. It was just like, we could make it work, but this, but that, not like full on yes.
Yeah.
And when we were walking around, the both of us, we were both looking at each other like, well, this might be something.
We're also in the house viewing process very careful for each other's feelings, because you're walking there with a realtor who's telling you a lot, but also you react yourself. It's quite a involved process. So if there's a wall falling down, you think, oh well, maybe this isn't it, but you don't really want to show that yet. What if it's a house that I'm really not enthusiastic about, but Nikki really loves? It's also about finding a balance in that. So
and we also try to view it with
open eyes, you know.
And then in the end you can talk about it. Just view it, see everything, and then in the end you can discuss it with each other.
So that is what we did here as well. So we were very careful, like, this maybe could be something. And it turns out we were on the same page, which was really nice.
It's also a good thing because it was the only one.
And it was also, I think, the only one where we were quite honest about that to the realtor after the visit.
Yeah.
Where we were like, actually I think we're gonna be in touch.
Yeah, because we really like this one.
Yeah. And I think the feeling that it was the right one also showed from the fact that we also visited the house later in the week two more times.
Yeah.
So we went there on our own.
Just to spend time there, look around.
To have a walk around the area, to visit all the roads that could lead to the property, because there's one from one way and one from the other way.
Yeah, we even went to the town to just drink something in the bar there. And
to just have a take it all in, and I think that was quite a clear hint that it
could be the one.
Could be the one. And yeah, from then on it only grew. All the other properties we visited after, we were like, well, doesn't quite reach that level. And then at the end we went home, had a good 1 to 2 weeks time to think about it, and we were still feeling the same after that time. So then we were like, let's see how we could take the next step.
Yeah.
And then we come on to the buying process, of course. So how did the process go, and how is it different from what we're used to?
Well, it's the first time for us buying a house. So of course we've been involved in the process of buying a house in the Netherlands, but we have never bought a house ourselves. This is the first time. But I think the main thing is buying a house in Italy. If you look up houses online, everything looks pretty much clean and very clear. Nice pictures, technical information. That's how it goes in the Netherlands. And then if you look at houses in Italy, sometimes you have one picture, sometimes you have 3 pictures, sometimes there's no information at all. The pictures, they just take a quick picture with the phone often. They don't really clean the house. It's just, that's extremely different. And also if you are looking to buy a house in a different country, we looked for the houses when we were in the Netherlands. So everything you see online is all the information you have. It was sometimes quite hard to get in touch with real estate agents abroad.
It was really hard actually.
Yeah.
It was really tough.
But sometimes we didn't even get a response at all. Tried emailing, tried calling, and it doesn't really help that we don't speak Italian. We are learning, of course, but at that point.
But it didn't matter how we contacted them.
No, even if
email in Italian, calling.
But a lot of time we got a response like, you just need to come to our office.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes. And that's a bit hard if you live in a different country. But in the end we figured it out, but that was really different. Yeah. And also what's different is, I think the main part is you just go to an office, you say to the real estate agent, we like these houses, and then they grab the keys and they just drive
there.
There.
You know, a lot of these houses aren't being lived in.
No,
so a lot of them
empty.
are emptied, and not all of them. We've had a few visits where grandma and grandpa are still there, and they're just drinking their morning coffee while we had a visit, which is also quite an awesome experience in a way.
Yeah. And that's very different.
But the communication is very different. There's still one house that we were really interested in, and we still haven't heard anything. Yeah. We don't care anymore, of course. Right, we found the one, but it was really, I think, in the top 3 houses, and we tried every way of communication.
Yeah, probably what would have worked is if we just went to the office and walked in and were like, we want to view that house. Probably that would have worked, but with our planning and everything was so busy,
we had no time.
It just didn't work that way. So that's, I think, the main difference.
Yeah. And then if we're looking at the process onwards from where we left off, so it was 2 weeks after the visits, we were sure this was the one we wanted to take the next steps. The next official step is the offer, and we're used to in the Netherlands to just tell the realtor, okay, we want to put in an offer of X.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how involved it is. In Italy it's an official document. I think 4 or 5 pages with 17 signatures.
Yeah.
And it states the offer itself, but also the state you expect the house to be in. And
all the details, basically.
All the terms and conditions, basically. You set them when making the offer.
Yeah.
And once that's approved, you can't do anything about it anymore.
No, that's just how it is.
So there were some houses we viewed where they said, okay, there's a big hornet's nest there, but you can put it in the offer that it needs to be removed. Or the roof is leaky, but you can put an offer for this amount and then it's not fixed.
Yeah.
Or offer of this amount and then it's fixed. So you decide what you'll be buying in the offer. You set the rules, and they can, of course, say no.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
And do a counter offer then.
Yeah.
But that's a bit different.
Yeah. So we made the first document, and I think this might be also a good time to talk about prices.
Yeah. But I think also the difference there, because I think that's quite positive, from the moment we talked to the real estate agent about the offer, everything went quickly and smoothly.
Yeah.
Way quicker than it would have.
And they were very serious about it.
And we got a quick response. I think it was in a few days.
And it's also a bit more of a human interaction.
Yeah, it's
for
way
us
more
in the
personal.
Netherlands. It's very, very much a system.
Yeah.
And here it's. You can discuss with the realtor what do you think is a realistic offer, what are the owners looking for. It's much more of a conversation than it is here.
Really
here
like
it's pretty much forbidden to even
really
mention the existence of the owners of the house, you know? And what the reason for selling is and whether they're young or old. It's all private information.
Not always, but mostly.
Mostly. And here it's just you can talk to the realtor. The realtor knows these people and can be honest with you. So that's really nice. It
feels really different, and I really like that. And it just went very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Which is also nice. I think if you get to the first, communication problems, and then you view the house, after that it goes very, very smoothly. So that was nice for us. So prices, because
so we were looking in quite a big range because we weren't exactly sure what to expect in the beginning. So we knew our maximum budget, but we didn't know how much renovation would be needed. So we were looking at houses that were half our budget.
Yeah.
which were in a different state than things at the top of our budget, which we expected to not need as much work.
Yeah, but realistically, that's not how it goes.
We quickly found out that a lot of the things that were on the higher end of our budget were also
Still,
requiring still lots and lots of work. Also just because if we want to make a bed and breakfast there and we make rooms for people to stay, all of that needs to still be built, and that takes a good chunk of money. So we quickly found out that a lot of the higher end of the spectrum prices were not realistic. So we adjusted our expectations on that end, and I think the cheapest house we looked at was 50k, somewhere along those lines, and the most expensive was 200. And everything pretty much felt in that range. So I think the other house that was close to the town that we actually ended up in, the one we liked but was too expensive, was I think 210.
It still probably needed like 50,
I think, which was way above the budget. The thing is, however, it's common to put in an offer that's lower than the asking price, which we're not used to. In the Netherlands, it's an asking price of 1 million and they sell for 1.2 million. That's the house buying environment we're used to here, and there it's not uncommon to put in offers that are lower than the asking price, especially if it's been on the market for a long time and has been not lived in for a long time.
And this house was not lived in for a long time, almost 35 years, 40 years, but it was also not on the market for a long time. The family just decided that they want to sell it, so we were a bit careful, also because we really wanted to have this house.
So the first offer we put in was 30% below the asking price. And we knew that was quite a sharp first offer. But the realtor said, you can try, it's not unrealistic.
You can try.
I will try my best for you. It's not unrealistic to put in this offer, but I'm not sure. And when we first viewed the house, the realtor gave a range which she thought was realistic, and this was only just slightly below what she thought would be a good offer. So we thought, let's start there.
Let's just try.
They gave a counter offer which was 20% below the asking price.
Which was what we wanted.
Yeah, which was what we were aiming for. And on the counter offer, we immediately said, yes, let's do it. We didn't want to further haggle over small amounts. It was a realistic offer. We knew that.
It was what we had in mind, so and we think it's also an honest price.
And the realtor did so as well, so we were okay with that, especially since the place where it is. If we were to view it as an investment, it would be a realistic price to say, okay, we make this house look in a better state, and if we were to ever want to sell it, it would have been a reasonable choice.
And we don't really see it as an investment. We want to make it our dream home, but it's a good way to think about it. And I think there was also one of the questions was all the costs involved. So of course you pay for the house. We needed to make with the offer a payment up front of 10,000. Which is.
It's kind of to show that you're serious and it's a real offer. So you cannot make an offer without accompanying it with a bag of cash, basically.
Well, it's not cash because that's not allowed, but.
It could be.
No, it's. I think the law is just 1,000 cash max because they don't want
that's true.
criminals
that's true.
taking advantage. So no cash, just normal payments via the bank, which was a bit of a.
That means you need a bank account, and for having a bank account, you need an Italian phone number.
We did not have that. For an Italian phone number, you need to have an Italian address. And to have an Italian address, you need to open a bank account.
So it's it's quite an involved process.
Pietje.
Pak haar maar. So it was quite a process, but in the end you have a sort of a down payment, then the offer comes through, and then you choose a date to pass the deed. You have to pay the notary fees, taxes, and you have to pay the realtor. Both the buying and selling party pay a percentage to the realtor, and then
I think for us it's around
3% or something.
Yeah, something like that. And
for the seller as well, I think.
Yeah. So it's not too crazy. And then probably notary fees will be,
I think,
few thousand.
Yeah.
And then
3,000 to 6,000.
Taxes will be like 10,000 or something. Around that range. We don't know it yet because the deeds still need to pass for us. So all those costs will come later for us. And then maybe when we are living there and we paid everything, we will make a new video about what everything really costs.
Yeah.
But for now, this is what we know. Really.
But for now, we don't have any receipts yet, so
we will tell you when we know. Next one?
Yeah, I think that we're almost there already. How long did it take from making an offer to getting the keys? But we still need to get the keys, and there aren't even keys.
No, the doors have no locks at all.
But that will be in December.
Yeah. In December we will receive the keys, put locks on the doors, and then that will be the Christmas special video.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Something we haven't mentioned yet is the size of the land, and to be quite honest, we're not 100% sure. We did some calculations and measurements based on the cadastral map.
So it was advertised with being around a hectare, which is 2.5 acres, around that range. But now we know all the land that is involved, and it's a bit more than we expected. So we did some calculations, but of course we are not there right now, and it seems to be a bit more. We are not too sure, but I think it will be around between 2.5 and maximum of 7 acres.
So in hectares it's probably around 1.5, but it's quite a big range.
Yeah, we still need to do a lot of calculations to be sure, but around somewhere there.
What are the first things we want to change or fix?
Well, when we go there,
we would like to have water at some point.
Yeah, we would like to have water, we would like to have electricity, and we would like to have heating.
And the thing is, the house is technically connected to mains. However, it's not been in working order for many, many years because there hasn't been people living there for many years. So the electrical and the wiring within the house is quite old.
All the systems are too old. Nothing works anymore.
And the specific state of everything is relatively unknown. The surveyor has been there and has done a report for us, which we thought was quite important. We wanted to have a knowledgeable person take a look at it before we bought anything. We didn't want any hidden
so we did that before stuff. We even made the offer.
And we could arrange that from here. So we asked the realtor to arrange that for us with the geometra, and they took a look and made a report for us.
Just to have a little bit more information.
Which was nice to have, because there was some points, and I think this was one of the questions, whether there were any things we were unsecure about with the house specifically before we bought it, and there was a few things. For instance, the upper floor of the main living part of the house, the last little room has, the floor is not really level, so the last bit sinks a bit.
It's a bit sloped, yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that's not a structural issue. It wasn't, it's just the fact that they put in the floor quite lazily. They dumped some cement and then put some tiles and thought it was okay. But there's not any structural issues, nothing is sinking away, thankfully. And also, for instance, would it be possible to create a bed and breakfast there in the future? Are there any hidden stuff that we don't know about? For instance, we had the advice from Stories of the Cacina, actually, from Isis and Bertus, to check this, because there were some places where there has been earthquakes in the past, and then automatically the area within the earthquake zone is unsuited for commercial exploitation. So we had that checked. A lot of different steps to just make sure, to do our due diligence. so to say.
So we paid a little bit extra upfront just to get it checked out by a surveyor, and I'm happy we did that just because.
And I would advise everyone to do that as well.
But I think the first thing, because that was the question, the first thing we are going to do there is get heating. Yeah. Because we will move there in winter. We want to have a wood stove there very quickly. And that's, I think, the first thing. Then water.
And a wood stove we can actually cook on as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
And then we will bring solar panels and solar generator with us to have a little bit of electricity. Yeah. So that water and electricity hopefully will be quickly in the next few weeks after living there. So that are the first things. And then after that we will see, we will get firewood and then start cleaning, renovations. But that we'll make a whole video about the things we are planning to do. Because that is going to be a long video.
And a lot of people are also curious about the vision we have for it, and we will show that in...
That's going to be another video, because this is getting long already.
Too long.
So that will be a new video.
So I think we pretty much had most questions. What would we say to someone also dreaming of buying a house in Italy, and what are practical
I would say go for it,
yeah.
But also keep in mind you are going to move to a different country, so things are going to be different than what you are used to.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that and also be open to it. Because a lot of people in the Netherlands are saying, oh, in Italy everything takes a long time, people don't work the same, everything goes slow. It might be true, but...
It doesn't have to be something negative.
No, and we know this, and we are going to move there because we want to move there. We think it's a beautiful country, so I'm not going to be negative about things that are different, because I go there because it's different. Because otherwise I wouldn't be going.
Yeah, and also respect the place you're going to.
Yeah, and learn about it.
A lot of people are saying, why don't you just bring a Dutch builder and do all the renovations from trustworthy Dutch people?
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to do it with Italian people.
Yeah. They know their way around there.
And we are going to move there.
We're
not going to move, in the Netherlands or whatever. So I think if that's your dream, go for it. But
and
be
just
aware.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Of course, it's very, very scary, but keep an open mind. Not everyone is out to get you,
And just prepare yourself mentally that you're going to go to a different country. So things are going to go different, but probably that's also why you like to move there, because it's different than what you're used to. So I think go for it. Do a lot of research online. There's a lot of things you can do from home when you're not already in a different country, just learning about it, and it helps to prepare
and also
yourself.
Trust your gut, because there were some instances where we just didn't have a good gut feeling about something, and then
don't do it.
I don't think you should go for it.
Yeah.
It's often based on things you may not even be able to describe, but there's a way why you're thinking, well, I couldn't feel at home here, then don't make a home there.
Yeah.
And if we didn't find this house in our first round of visits, we would have come back and planned 20 more visits. If it isn't the right thing, don't do it. I think is the advice I would have.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Then I will see you in the next video.
Thank you guys for watching, and
see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Say bye, Pientje. Close up, Pientje. Voorzichtig. Pientje.
Mijn ding.